Fifth graders, today we're going to start working on a project that I think you're going to be familiar with in Google. So once you are in Google Drive, I want you to get a new Google Slides. And this is like a PowerPoint. It's a presentation software. So when we start this is what it's going to look like. We can change this if we want to, or we can give it a title. As always, I want you to call this something. So we're going to call it slide practice. Perfect. Couple things I want you to do. It says click to add title. I want you to type in my slide. Please use capital letters to start them both. And then put your name first and last down below. Notice that it's a smaller font. Perfect. Okay. I want to walk you through all of this toolbar that's up here. There's a couple of different things that we can do. First of all, because it's here, we're going to talk about themes. And the default is called Simple Light. You can do a Simple Dark. Notice when you click it, the background now is dark and my font automatically changed to white. This is the title slide, and if I were to add another slide right now, it would not look like this because this is the title slide. The rest of them in the group could look different. Please look through the themes, click on some so that you can see what happens. Know that your second slide might not look like this. So if you insert another slide and you're confused because it doesn't look the way that you thought it would, that's because on the second slide, the theme changes a bit. So go ahead and click on some of these so you can see what's going on and the differences that it makes. Pick one that you like. All right. Now I'm going to show you how to insert another slide working with this toolbar right here. First one, it's the plus sign. Now there's different types of slides, and as you mouse over them, they've already got a description under each one of them. All right. So it depends on what you're doing, what you're going to create, that's going to, based on what you're going to do, that's the one you would pick. If you have a lot of information, that's the one you would use. We've got 2 columns. There's just any number of different things that we can do. For now, I want you to click a blank one. The color of it, you can see it right here. It's not going to look at all like my first one. I can also get rid of this themes now because I've chosen one. I can change it if I want to, but for now, we're just going to leave it. Reminding you the undo and the redo right here. We won't be printing. If you need to zoom in on something to see it larger, you can do that. This is the toolbar that you're going to be a little bit familiar with because it's very similar to what we had in Google Docs. So the first one that I want you to click on is the text box. Notice that it doesn't automatically put it in. You do get a plus sign. If I click and drag, it'll put the plus sign in there for me. Font is always going to be, I think it's called Old Standard, and a size 14. So if before we start typing, you want to change that, you may. You may also change the size. Now we're just going to type a sentence that goes in here. And let me show you what happens if you fill the text box with too much text. All right. Do you see the red squiggle? Fifth graders, a number of you have been handing in your work with red or blue squiggles underneath them. Please fix them before you hand them in. So if I right click on this, it wants that in 2 words. Now I have 2 choices. I can either make my font smaller or the text box bigger. I want to show you how to change the border, how to change the background or the fill for this text box. Notice that when I click off of the text box, the toolbar goes away. I click it back. Now I've got more options again. This is the fill color for your text box. If my text is black and I choose a dark gray, it will not readjust that text for me. It doesn't change it white like it did with the background or with the theme. All right. So pick a color that you like for your background. This is the border color. And the border color is the thickness of it is, it's very thin unless you change it. So we can make that thicker border. We can also change how the border looks. Class, I know you remember, but we can change the layout, the alignment. You can move it to the center. You can move it to the right. You can move it up to the top of the text box or down to the bottom. Just explore where that goes. I do want you to type that. So that's the text box. Click and drag to draw. Put one in. The next one is an image. We've worked with this before. I do want you to see that because in the past this has not worked. So I'd like you to try this. Let's go search the web. So it'll take you over here to Google Images. I want you to search for a tree. Now, notice that in the past, I've shown you how you can change it to clip art, or you can change it to specific size, or you can make sure that it's for you to be able to reuse. That doesn't happen here, okay? So I click it and I can insert it. All right, so I want you to find a picture of a tree and insert it. Notice that I can't change the color of that, but I can change the outline. Okay, so I want you to do that. So far, so good. We got a text box and we have an image. This should look familiar. We did this in Google Draw. So we're back again. Here's your shapes, your arrows, your callouts, your equations. Okay, remembering to move them around. All right. These are the lines. I can do a scribble. Remember, even if I meet it up beginning to end, this isn't like the polylines, so it's not going to fill in with a solid color. I can't do that with this. So that's a familiar group. I'm not going to have you adding comments because they go over here to the side, but I just thought I'd show that to you. The background, right now it's there. Let's see if I can change it. Can I change it? Can I add it to the theme? Yes. I won't, but I could. Okay. The other thing that I would like you to see, we're going to add another blank document. Now, if I just click the plus sign, maybe I'll show you this. If I just click the plus sign, I get whatever I had last time. If I want a specific one, I can pick it, but I have to drop the arrow in order to get that. If I'm here and I just said, oh, I don't want one, I don't want that, remember, you can undo. You can also cut it, or you can change the layout to something else. So here I have a caption. All right. So we've done the background. I thought I'd also show you, I can do an image. I can choose an image. I can go to Google Drive and pick something that I've already done. I can do a Google search. All right. So those are ways that you can upload them from your computer if you've already found something and saved it. We can also do a Google search. All right. Now I want to show you what we can do for transitions. The transitions is how we change from the first slide to the second slide. Right now there are none, but you can choose one. When you want to see what it's going to do, we can click play. Notice that there's a slide here. I can slow it down. If I tell it to stop, then I can slow it down. So if I slow it way down, you'll be able to see how slowly it fades in from one to the next. You'll know that you have an animation looking over here. So I'm good. I'm animating from this side to this slide, but I'm not from this one to my third one. I don't have that icon there yet. The other thing that you can do, we have to click stop here. Okay, so let's do this. Let's say we want to animate this. I can click on that. So I have a slide transition, but I have object animation. So if I want to add an animation, that's to this. All right. So I have a lot more choices here. I can have it spin. Right now I'm saying when I click. Okay, right now that's what I have. I can have it come after the previous animation. So in other words, when I change from this side to this slide, then this would happen. If I say with the previous, it would happen at the same time. So I'm going to leave it as an on click for now. Here's how it's going to look. Right now it's going to happen fairly fast. Hasn't happened yet because I haven't clicked. So if I click, that's how it's going to come in. I'm going to say stop. And we can play it again. Remember, it won't happen until you click your mouse, and then it'll come in. The slide transition, there is none, but we can change that. So I had two different animations there. I had a fade in on the click, and then I had the spin on the click. If I choose not to have this happen, I can just throw that away. So there's how you get them off. All right. Now, when we want to see what the whole slideshow is going to look like, we can go up here to present. We can go to our first slide. We can do present. Now there's a drop arrow. It says presenter view or present from the beginning. All right. So, and that's what we're going to get. We're going to get present from the beginning. It goes full screen. Nothing happens until I click my mouse to tell it to go on to the next. Here comes slide 2. This is my slide 3. There's nothing on it. I'm done and I want to get out of this. A couple ways you can do that. You can click X here, okay? Or you can press the escape key. And the escape key, which is in the upper left-hand corner, it says ESC, will allow you to escape. All right. So if I want a new slide, if I want 2 of the exact same things, I can do that. I can skip slides. Moving slides is very easy. All you do is click and drag to change the order that you're in. Wherever that orange slide on mine shows up, that's the first one. Okay? So you can change where the slides are. You can insert all kinds of things. You can put a video in there if you have one, or a diagram, or word art, okay? So as long as we're here, I want to show you some word art. We're going to insert word art. Now, it says use enter to save. Use shift enter for multiple lines. So if I have a lot of lines, then I have to shift enter so it goes down to the next line. All right. We're going to write I love computer class. And a shift and a number 1 to get an exclamation mark. So I'm done. So I'm going to hit enter to save that. Look how big it comes in. All right. I don't want to do a motion with it, but I do want to format it. I want it to look nice. So right now it shows that kind of greenish color that I'm in there. I can do a custom, but it is going to do a solid color. This is the transparency. So if I say, okay, look at how light that came in. If I come back to my custom color and I change my transparency all the way to the right, that's how bright it is. I can change my font. And I can change my outline. I can change the thickness. Now, whatever you choose to do, please, this would not be a good idea. I want to make sure that I can read whatever it is that you wind up with at the end. All right. You can move this around on your page. Remember, that's that 4-handled arrow going 4 different directions. So that's our word art. Okay. Let's take a look. I clicked on my text box, on my word art box, and then I went to format options, and this comes up. So I can do size and rotation. So if I want to, I can rotate that. Now, you might think that's kind of crazy. Why would we do that? I don't know. It doesn't work for here as well, does it? I can move it around. Position isn't one. Now, the one that I want you to see is that drop shadow. So the drop shadow, if we stay with black, and you can change the transparency, you can change the angle. And I am not seeing it show up. There we go. Now, when I moved distance, now I can see it. And the blur radius. So I can really make it blurry or not very blurry at all. Notice that as I change that angle, it moves around a little bit. All right. Transparency. This is solid black. This is very light over here on this angle. All right. Now we can also do something called a reflection. The reflection starts to show up down here. Again, as I move distance, as I look at size, we're seeing that come in there a little bit better. Okay? Transparency, the more I move it to the right, the less I'm going to see. I can animate it. So I can have it fly in from the top on my click. I can make it go very fast. Remember, on the click. There we are. Notice that the other part where it said click to add text down here below, it's not there anymore, okay? Because I didn't type in there, that information didn't come in, all right? We'll click stop here. Click to add text never does come in because I didn't put anything in there, all right? So I want you to practice a couple of different things. I want you to make sure you do a text box with a border. Do some shapes, do some scribbles, find a tree, put it in, work with the border, work with the animations, work with the transitions. Remember, transitions are between the slides and animations are the objects that are on the slides. So I want you to take some time today, kind of explore those things, because then we will begin building some slides for our class.